Hey, what's up? Andrew Kramer here for VideoCopilot.net, and welcome to a very special presentation for our brand new plugin, Twitch. Now, I get a lot of questions asking, what is Twitch? So hopefully this video will show you some of the different features and maybe unshroud the mystery behind this plugin. Now, I will warn you, if you're prone to seizures or any of that kind of stuff, I would be careful before you proceed. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you just a few of the things we're going to be going over. First, we have the RGB split effect. And here's a quick demonstration of that. So you can see basically the RGB channels are splitting up and kind of creates a very cool effect. And that's one of the features of Twitch. We also have this great transition between two cuts of footage. So you can see we basically do some sporadic stuff and then cut into the next shot. We also have the capability to freeze Twitch at any given state, and a few other things that we'll get into along the way. But let's go and get started with just the basic understanding of Twitch. So here I have our title footage. Now I'm going to select the footage and I'm going to choose Effect, Video Copilot, Twitch. Now, at the default state, Twitch doesn't do a thing, and that's the way I like it. So what we can do is turn on any of the 6 operators: blur, color, light, scale, slide, and time. Now, just to make this easy to see, I'm going to turn on the light operator, and then I'm going to play our footage back. So right away you can see that we're sort of adding this nice mood and this texture to our footage in the form of these flashing lights. Now let me point out what's going on here. First, we have the amount. So that's sort of the intensity of all of the operators globally. Now we also have the speed per second. So 5 twitches per second is what's happening right now. We can turn that up to say 20. And you'll see a lot more twitching going on. We can also turn it down and see, just a lot less, depending on what you're doing. And of course, these are keyframeable, so you can ramp it up and ramp it down depending on what you're trying to accomplish. I'm going to go ahead and set it back to 5. Now, we also have advanced controls for these operators. So our light is selected. I'm going to go down to the operator controls and to the light. And here are the individual controls for the light. Just to kind of demonstrate this a little bit better, I'm going to turn on the color operator as well. So you can see basically the footage gets tinted sort of an orange color. Then I'll also toggle down the color operator. So here we have 2 operators working together in sync. So if I play this back, here's what we have. Now, if I want to change the color, I can just click in here, maybe make it blue, and play it back, and there we go. Now, what if I want my color to be more intense and maybe the light amount to be less? Now, if I go up to the top, I can change the global amount, but this changes all of the operators equally. But if I go into the individual controls, I can increase the amount of color and decrease the amount of light. And this way, once you get these settings correct, you can simply fade them out or transition them on using the amount slider from the top. So as you can see, we're creating a very cool mood in our underground scene by simply changing a few of the Twitch options. Now let's go and move on to another example. I have the RGB split. Now this is the final video here, and we did a few advanced things like make it so that it kind of phases a little bit differently. We'll cover that in one of the tutorials for Twitch, but I'm just going to show you the basics for the RGB split function. So I'll choose Effect, Video Copilot, Twitch, turn on the slide function. So as you can see, it just kind of bounces around. Then I'll go down to the operator controls, go to slide, and here we have all the options. Now the slide has several more options because there's a lot of other things that you want to be able to control. For example, say I want the slide to only occur in the up and down direction. Well, if I change the spread to 0, then you'll see the twitching only happens in sort of the up and down position. I can also play with the rotation to change the angle of the twitching. Now, I want to show you the next part, which is the slide RGB split. So, all I have to do is increase the percent, and you see over here, all of our layers kind of split up while we twitch. Now, it's a little bit dark, but I'll turn on the light just so that it brightens it up a bit. So, let's check it out. And you can imagine what it looks like when you actually apply it to footage. It really just looks amazing. We also have the control over the motion blur as well. So if we turn this down, you see that everything kind of stays together. Now, if you're having a hard time seeing this, you may be colorblind, so I would check that out. Let's move on to the twitch transition. I know everyone's been waiting for this. As you can see, we just have this kind of really cool effect, and it just kind of blends the two shots together. So I've simply applied our twitch to an adjustment layer and changed the ramp amount from 0 up to 100 and down back to 0 again. So I'll go ahead and shut this off and create a new adjustment layer. I'll choose Effect, Video Copilot, Twitch, turn on a few of these operators, and maybe turn the speed up to 9. So right now we're going to see a lot of things going on, but I want to make it even more intense. So I'll go into the individual controls and make a few changes. So I'm going to go into the blur operator, and I only want the blur and the brightness to kind of come from the bright areas of the image. So I'll change the blur holdout, which is similar to a threshold. So if I increase that, you can see what's happening here. And I'll change the transfer mode to screen. And so now that kind of creates a glow effect. We can also change the aspect ratio, and that will kind of create, longer stretched blur. As you can see in this shot, just kind of a cool effect. We can also tint the blur and, create an interesting effect that way as well. So with those few changes out of the way, I'm also going to turn on the slide operator. And so now we can just see a lot of things going on. And then I'll just go set the amount to 0, set a keyframe. I'll move forward to right when these cross, and I'll set this to maybe 130. Move a little past and set it to 0. So you can see my keyframes are just kind of creating a quick ramp, and then I'll just play it back. So as you can see, we've kind of created a cool effect here. Now, in the original example, in the slide operator, what I did was set the spread amount to 0 and increase the RGB split. And so here's kind of what you see is sort of like the image tearing apart from each other. Anyway, that's a cool way to use Twitch. Just create some really crazy movement, and then just turn it on and turn it off, and see what that does for you. Now we also have the freeze Twitch. Now I'm not going to get into this too much. We'll cover this on the tutorials, but I just kind of want to point out that you can freeze your result and then apply it to your footage to kind of create cool stylistic looks. If you come across something, oh, that's really cool, well, just hold on to it, and you can then freeze it over your footage. Then on top of that, you can maybe add another twitch to footage that already has twitch to maybe add just a little bit of a blinking effect. So if I choose Video Copilot Twitch, I'll just turn the light on and play this back. So we're going to see Sam walking in slow motion. So if that's not cool, I don't know what is. I mean, look at that. He's got his collar popped. Man, that guy is pretty slick. Maybe it was just windy, but either way, Now, just one other feature I want to show you is the lens blur. If I choose Effect, Video Copilot, Twitch, if I just turn on the blur, you're going to see basically we have a blurred image. But if we go into the advanced controls, I can go down and turn on Use Lens Blur. And what that does is it uses a lens blur rather than a standard fast blur, and kind of an interesting effect. Of course, you can increase the amount and change the transfer mode, and create some different effects using the lens blur function. But we just thought it'd be nice to build that in just to add that look you may be going after. So anyway, as you can see, if you're doing cool effects or if you're doing motion graphics, Twitch has a lot of uses, and there's plenty more that I didn't even get a chance to cover in this demonstration, but hopefully you'll read through some of the stuff and see what Twitch can do for you. So anyway, thanks for watching, and if you're just waking up from a seizure, you missed a great show. But in any case, we'll see you next time, and I'm Andrew Kramer for Video Copilot.